Good morning, welcome to a new video. Today's Sunday the 4th? Yeah, Sunday the 4th of December. As you can see, it's a bit grotty, a bit overcast, not particularly warm either. I think the weather forecast when I was looking at my phone at breakfast is a maximum of 5 today, so it's going to be an old chilly one. And yeah, so it's a 200 kilometre ride, 125 miles, give or take. And I'm going out into Wiltshire. Nothing too hilly, and there's a reason for that. As today I'm on the fixed wheel bike, the fixie. So I tend to keep it a bit flatter for when I'm riding when I'm riding that bike. And I haven't ridden it for a while, so there's actually a reason for that. Basically, I wore the wheels out because I controlled the speed a lot more on descents using the brakes, and I've wore the right rims out. So I went and got these Chinese things off eBay with the funky red hubs, and as you can see, I've got a new chain. There's a 1/8 of an inch chain and a 1/8 of an inch chain ring as well. The sprocket is what came with the wheels. I couldn't get the lock ring undone using the old screwdriver and hammer approach, so I've had to order a lock ring, and I've got that for a lock ring tool, and I've got that for the future. So wait for that to come. So I'm just carrying on with that sprocket, which is a standard size sprocket, 18 tooth. I normally use a 17, so I'm geared a bit lower than I'm used to today as well. Anyway, I'm coming off along here, along the Old Midland line. I'm going to go all the way out to Nailsworth, Avening, and then up onto the top. From there, I head southwest down to as far as Bratton, which is near Westbury, and then loop back through Wootton Bassett, Cotswold Water Park, and then back home. Anyway, I must crack on because a bit late starting today because I had a few mechanical issues, which I'll tell you about in a bit. Well folks, just got through Tetbury. After coming up the shallowest gradient to get on top of the Cotswolds through Avening, and a bit disappointed with myself. I had to walk the last little bit. I've ridden up there before on this bike, so it's definitely a fitness thing. Oh, hang on. That could be sorted out, and that's why we're out today on this bike. I've forgotten how much of a good workout you get when riding fixed. I was proper puffing. Find me on the Fossway. I've just joined the gravelly bit, about 100 yards back there, and we're just heading off in this general direction towards Rittleton, and I suppose about half a mile at most be back on the tarmac again. But yeah, this weather's a bit grim, very drizzly and cold. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Well, just passed through Melksham. I actually stopped, had a coffee there, and a warm I want to call it a cheese and onion sausage roll, but you know what I mean. It's not sausage roll, but that type of thing. Anyway, here's the Canals Canal, looking towards the opposite way of Devizes. Brain's gone blank. It's a cold. Yeah, the weather forecast 5 degrees is about right, I think. I could have done with a thicker underlayer on today, a base layer thing. Winter's here finally. Yeah. So yeah, basically I stopped in my usual petrol station and had a few bits and pieces there to eat and coffee. And I didn't do a piece of camera there, which I normally do, because the traffic was ridiculous. Everybody's out spending all their money on their Christmas tat. Yeah, you can call me the Grinch. Yeah, I like Christmas actually, you know, all joking aside. I don't like it when it starts in October though, but that's another story. Yeah, so down here for a few miles, and then basically turn east. And I think we've got a northeasterly wind today. You know, and I was talking about the weather forecast on my phone when I was eating my breakfast this morning, and I kind of had a look for the rest of the week. There's a bit of a rumour it's going to get cold, and Met Office forecast where I live, the minimum is -4 on Thursday, so that's going to be interesting. And, I walked across the road because I just wanted to show you the locks. It's always quite quiet and calm and peaceful this time of year. It's only the people that actually live in the narrow boats and what have you that are about. All of the tourists of the summer have disappeared. Well, they're all up there going shopping. I do quite like the idea of living in a narrow boat, but I think the reality isn't quite as romantic as what I got in my head, to be honest. I used to work with somebody who knew somebody who lived in a narrow boat and said that they had big problems with condensation and stuff. So, and I think, you know, when you're living on water, when it is cold, frosty and that kind of thing, all the cold air pulls down by the water. So I think it's quite expensive to heat your narrow boat. Well, I could just see the church at Steeple Ashton on the horizon there. You can't see it on this camera because of the lens, but I basically came along here, just the other side of these trees. It's the village of Bratton, which is just outside, it's a few miles from Westbury rather. So Westbury is probably about 3 miles in the general direction that the camera's pointing. But I've got 1.5 miles heading east. This is Eddington, and I'm going to basically turn left off of here in 1.5 miles and head northeast, and basically sort of kind of heading home really, but I'm doing a bit of a loop, so I'm going out sort of past home, if you like, and then looping back and coming in from the east. So I should have a tailwind for the last sort of 15-20 miles, so that'd be good. I'll probably need that as well. But yeah, as you can see, you know, today's going to be one of those days where I'm going to be lighting up quite early today. It's quite sort of misty and damp, and it's that sort of damp that just seems to suck the warmth out of you, you know. As I said back there, I could have done with a thicker base layer really, but I'll survive. And the hump over there is the other side of the hill that has the white horse on it, so you can't see it from here because it's the other side of that hump. But yeah, that's roughly where I am. 45 miles done. So I'm just over halfway, a third of the way round rather than a halfway. Wishful thinking, that is. And basically I'm going to head next sort of town of any note is Devizes. Anyway, let's get off this main road. So just come through this little village. I think it might be called Marston, and just sort of followed this sort of bridleway with a gentleman with the dog. He's just walking up, and just came down to this little brook here. Well, I say little, it's a little bit overflowing, to be honest. And yes, this is that's the bridleway. It's actually got a flow and everything. So I kind of got talking to the guy with the dog, and he said this bit here has been like it for the last sort of week and a half. And if you can see there through there, that gap, there's you can see the water level. No wonder why it's coming over the top. And apparently there's some sluice gates down this side, and I think I can just see the top of them. And you know, the guy was sort of saying, well, the GoPro had a 25 then. Yeah, so as I was saying, the sluice gates apparently it's overflowing sluice gates, so I'm not surprised with the amount of rain we've had in the last couple of months. Anyway, I'm off to the Wharton is behind me, so that's the next sort of village of note, and it's actually quite nice because it's actually tarmacked. So yeah, I mean, if you look at that tree up there, how much leaves are still on it, and we're in December, the first quarter of December, and you know, there's that much leaves still about. So as I kind of alluded to earlier, that the Met Office app was saying -4 later in the week, and harsh overnight frosts. So I think that'll probably bring down all these leaves for this year. We've had quite a long, I wouldn't say an overly spectacular tree bloom this year, but it's been a bit of a funny year, hasn't it, really, weather-wise. There's the church. Just walking up here, really, just to soak the quiet in. Before the daylight sort of goes completely, despite it not being that late, I just thought I'd mention what I've actually done to this bike. It hasn't been on a video for about a year. So these wheels I bought off eBay. They were 90 quid, and they came with these tyres, these Chinese tyres. So they're a Chinese wheel set basically, and I think really they're actually aimed at more the should I say the hipster types, you know, you see bombing around on their fixes, and I think they're more aimed at those sort of, for that sort of market, because they weigh an absolute ton. But they're absolutely perfect for what I use it. I really, most of the time I just use it for this bike for going to work on, really. And as I said, I've put a 1/8 chain on there, and a Zumi 1/8 chain and a 1/8 chain ring, and I've got a 17 tooth 1/8 sprocket to go on there as well, so it'll all be sort of a little bit beefed up. We'll see how long, if it makes the chain last any longer, you know, with the additional width. Yeah, so going back to the tyres, the Chinese tyres that were on there was like Hedgefinder Pros, so they didn't even know, they came straight off, and I've swapped them onto the wheels, the tyres that I had on my other wheels, if that makes sense. So these are Schwalbe Marathons. It's a 28 on the back and a 25 on the front. I got a 25 by accident, actually. I meant to order a 28, and I forgot to change it from a 25 to a 28, so what turned up was a 25. So rather than having the aggro of sending that back, I kept with the 25. But yeah, they seem to be pretty good so far. A bit more. The rear one has a flip-flop hub. So I've got the sprocket on one side and the freewheel on the other. As you can see, they're in a rather natty red brown. The touring mode on there come out for this time of year, because brings you along byways like this, which in the summer is absolutely fine, but as you can see, that bit there is a little bit too boggy. Yeah, I think I got probably a mile of this, that'll be alright. The route into Devizes I've not come along before. Nice bridle way. It was a bit too bumpy at the bottom for me to ride. Ended up having to push the first bit. Now the gradient's eased off, it's alright. But yeah, I mean, you can see the mast there. I can see the fire brigade HQ, and then you just see Pottern, and the main road goes through Pottern, so I've avoided that, so that's good. And the main road goes from sort of right to left towards Devizes, so I'm going to go this way, and I think there's going to be a climb up here. I'm probably going to be walking up. When I was sort of planning the route, there was a hill, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to be walking that one, and I'm not sure if it's this one or between Devizes and Canals, so we shall see. Devizes, and that's actually quite a good route into Devizes. Actually, it would have been suited a geared bike better than what I'm on. But yeah, it's traffic free, wasn't too rough apart from the first sort of 100 yards or so, but no, it was pretty good, and it's dumped me off in the centre of Devizes with very little traffic, so I'm sure that's about to change, but yeah. Well, this is the hill that I knew I'd have to get off a walk. Fortunately, the steep bit finishes just up here, but yeah, I knew this one was a walker. Oh, now at the top of the hill. Sorry, I'm stuffing my face. I think the route after this is reasonably benign, to be honest, so should start to make a bit better progress, because it's been a bit slow. That's sort of 10-15 miles. Well, my route's taking me down a footpath, so I'm doing the right thing at walking. But it is rather nice down here, in the back of Calm. Nice little brook here. No idea where this will bring me out. I guess I'll find out. Well, folks, you find me Wooden Basset, Royal Wooden Basset, and I had a really bad patch a few miles outside Calm. Don't know why, no warning, nothing, bosh, legs were empty, so I had to shovel a packet of crisps in me and a couple of gels, and that's got me to here. And there's a petrol station just up the road, so I'm going to have something in there, but yeah, I got quite rough for a bit. Typically it's a headwind as well. Christmas lights are up. Well, inside the petrol station now. Nice coffee, bit of warmth, and sandwich. 80k to go, and it's basically flat now, so I think what happened, those hills just took it out of me, you know. Anyway, yeah, so from here, just going to head north up to Burton Burton sort of for Keynes Way, across the main road out to Fairford, and then once I'm there, it's literally just back to Cirencester, Kendal, and then home. So make that sound easy, isn't it? It's yeah. So I'm going off in this direction towards Fairford, and then another direction change at Fairford, and heading back west then to Cirencester, through Cirencester to Kemble, and then through the lanes back home. So it's not a silly amount of miles left now. When I last spoke to you, I came through Marsden Maisie, and Marsden Maisie is at the end of one of the runways. Well, there's only one runway at RAF Fairford, and it's at the end of it, the sort of western end of it, if you like, south-western end. They were clearly not expecting anything, arrivals or departures anytime soon, because none of the main runway lights were switched on. So just some red sort of lights. Anyway, I came through there, came through Fairford, and I'm kind of going back out of Fairford and then looping back round. I'm kind of glad because the wind's picked up since earlier, and it's yeah, it's pretty hard work now. So everybody now decides to come along this little quiet backwater. Anyway, I'm going to have some of them biscuits I brought in. Where was that? Wootton Bassett. Hasn't been too bad since there, to be honest. I felt alright. Just need a little bit of sustenance to get me over the next bit. I'm going to try and not stop for the last bit, to be honest, if I can. Wind should, once I've gone up here and turned west, should be my favour. Just right. Now in Cirencester, so it's not too far home. But yeah, it's just going to be the slowest 200 I've done in a while, I think ever. But that said, I'm hoping this will batter some fitness into me. Well guys, I'm in Charrington. Not a million miles left to home now really. Probably another 10 miles, 16k. Anyway, just thought I'd show you the lights in this tree. It's really good. Well folks, that's it, ticked off. The Garmin's had a head fart. I had one last week as well. Turned out that the courses were full up. Actually meant to mention this earlier, and I had to empty them. And then it had a proper funny after Sharrington, and it kept saying off course, but I was on the purple line, you know. So don't know what happened there. Hopefully it hasn't ruined me ride when I go to save it. I think I might need to do a factory reset on it. I was playing around with the maps, so I think perhaps I've buggered something up. Anyway, although it's been I found it really tough today, I've actually enjoyed it in a weird kind of way, and it was good doing it on the fixie as well. Anyway, it's cold, it's dark, and I'm nearly home, so I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for who've stuck around this long. Thank you very much, appreciated. See you next time.